Addison Rae has been the talk of the pop world for a while, and one major reason is she began her career as a TikToker, one of the most egregious, memeable, and obnoxious examples. When she dropped her debut single Obsessed in 2021, it seemed like a pretty typical influencer cashes in on the music industry simply because they can move. Utterly generic, dated, and forgettable shopping mall background music. I do, however, think there was a precedent set with Addison's career and the questioning surrounding it with Obsessed. Even with the subject matter, I'm obsessed with me as much as you. It's vapid. Addison is not a pop star that has an effortlessly cool vibe. She tries, and she tries extremely hard. And the question lingers, is she in on the joke? It's like JoJo Siwa level of trying to cultivate a cult of personality. In some ways, she feels like a made-for-TV pop star come to life. You can't help but to feel there's a level of artifice embraced in the way she presents herself. Kind of like a modern-day Paris Hilton. However, I think the mask slips, and Addison becomes a little more convincing when she taps into some of her vulnerability. Leading up to this album, Addison really honed in on her niche, which at this point mostly seems to be 90s and 2000s pop and R&B jams, taking inspiration from Madonna, Janet, Britney, Gaga, and even her mentor Charli XCX. And I think she has done this niche pretty well, far more artful and intentional than a peer like Tate McRae, who's honing in on a similar niche. But obviously, Addison is not as developed and thorough as someone like Charli XCX. We can't talk about the legitimization of Addison Rae without talking about Diet Pepsi, her first real hit as a pop star, and where it all seemed to connect. A sultry early Lana Del Rey inspired number that really won people over. And it's just a catchy, breezy song that plays to Addison's strengths. Aquamarine, on the other hand, was a little more danceable. It has very obvious influence from Madonna's Ray of Light and Britney's In the Zone eras. The production and the melody is pretty nice, but the lyrics could have used some work. High Fashion sounds like a very poor imitation of FKA Twigs that she did not have the range to pull off. However, my favorite single from the album is undoubtedly Headphones On, and probably my favorite song from the album in general. Sonically, it calls upon inspiration such as Madonna, Janet, TLC. It's very 90s R&B and trip pop influenced, but delivered in a very Britney-esque way, where Addison lyrically just talks about the troubles of the world in her personal life, and how she puts her headphones on to keep going. It feels tender, it feels affecting, it has a great hook, and it's a good song. And after really diving into her debut album simply titled Addison, it's clear to see that the singles are really the strongest part of the album. The opening track New York sounds like it's trying to be like Charli XCX circa Brad. From the very blunt and conversational songwriting to the bouncy production, I feel like it only picks up steam in the last half of the song. It almost sounds like a Diet Club Classics. Money Is Everything is a song that recalls Madonna's Material Girl lyrically, a song where she actually name drops various pop divas. I drink on the nights that I want to remember, and when I'm up dancing, please DJ play Madonna, Wanna Roll One with Lana, and Get High with Gaga. In this song, she basically talks about money being everything, and how her mom told her to save money so she doesn't have to depend on a man. It's one of the funner tracks on the album, though I could do without the spoken word parts. Fame Is a Gun reminds me of early Gaga, and a lot of 80s synth work. I can't really say it's all that interesting lyrically or sonically. It's a very by-the-book song about fame and the glamorous life. It's very ambiguous in that way and has no personalized touch. Summer Forever sounds like another Lana Del Rey tribute, and I think it goes over pretty well, even if not very interesting. This album does not really make use of Addison's voice in interesting ways. Every single song is sung the exact same way, and her enunciation is not the best, and if you couple that with the vocal processing, it definitely muddles some of her performances. Addison's voice is extremely light, it's a wisp, and while nothing on her album is out of her range, there's a strong monotony throughout her performances, and given her vocal limitations, I think her and her team could have definitely tried some different vocal approaches. On one hand, I think it's a commendable effort. Addison Rae has generally shown so much progress, but outside of her personal progression from a cringe TikToker to a pop starlet who has commendable tastes, there's not much I can say about the vision, the lyrics, and the performances on this album since it's pretty run-of-the-mill. I do appreciate some of the sonic explorations she took with this album. I think a lot of the homages are very true to the sonic inspiration, without sounding extremely dated or on the other hand, lacking the details of the original. I can say I think Addison at the very least has proven herself to be a capable pop star, if not yet a masterful one. I do think this album is based more in aesthetics than merit, and once you get past the singles, the veneer is very cheap and falling off. It does a great job of capturing the different vibes of all these different little niches that occurred in the 90s and 2000s, but the lyrics, the melodies, and the vocal work is so weak on most of the tracks that ultimately all you're left with is vibes, some better than others.